Welcome back, Careblazer. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how you can help prevent your loved one's frustration or anger or distress from getting worse, and I'm going to go over specific tips you can use to help calm your loved one in these situations. If you have ever tried to calm your loved one down from any situation just to find that your loved one got worse or more frustrated and you yourself got frustrated, then this video is for you. As always, I want to welcome anybody who's watching for the first time. This is Careblazers TV, the place where we talk about everything dementia. I'm Dr. Natali. I'm a board-certified geropsychologist, and my whole goal is to support the dementia caregiver in their journey. If you haven't already, hit that red subscribe button and be sure to download your own Careblazer survival guide below this video. And to all you Careblazers supporting me on Patreon, thank you so much. Now, sometimes it can feel like your loved one with dementia becomes upset or frustrated or angry or violent completely out of the blue, with no clear trigger or something to tip you off on what it was that made them so upset or made them in so much distress. This can be pretty frustrating for you because if you knew what it was, you would just go ahead and try to take care of that situation and try to prevent it from happening again. To make things more difficult, a lot of times the person with dementia is not able to communicate what exactly it is that's making them so upset. Or if they are able to communicate it, they're communicating something that is not possible for you to fix or take away. Like, for example, they might be seeing something, they might be having hallucinations of something that's not really there. Or they might be having delusions, really strong beliefs that they believe to be true, even though they're not, like the neighbor stealing things or somebody coming into the house and changing all the light bulbs, right? These are things that when you try to respond to them in a rational way, like you would for most people, it just backfires on you. And it turns out it makes your loved one get more angry, and it just makes the whole situation worse. So even though it's impossible to avoid your loved one with dementia from having anger outbursts altogether or from having difficult situations where they become in distress, what we can do, our goal is to make those situations as short as possible, to be able to respond in a way that puts your loved one at ease and does not end up driving yourself crazy in the process. That's the goal. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you try to respond to your loved one who's in distress only to make things worse, that your loved one gets more angry and you yourself get quite frustrated? It's actually quite common, and I'm going to go over specific tips right now that I want you to keep in mind the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're trying to calm down your loved one. These tips will hopefully make it so that your loved one will calm down quicker and that the situation will not get worse. Here we go. Tip number 1, do not raise your voice. Number 2, be mindful to not approach your loved one too quickly or fast when you try to respond to them. Number 3, don't have your hands out in front of you as you approach them. Remember, even though in your mind you know you're trying to help them, you have to look at it through your loved one's eyes. When situations are happening that are making your loved one upset, angry, frustrated, it's often because they're scared, they don't understand what's going on, or they believe something to be going on that isn't actually happening. As a basic example, if your loved one with dementia might be so confused they don't remember you, or they might have a negative attitude towards you, you responding to them by walking quickly toward them with your hands out is going to make matters worse and scare them. They don't understand in their mind that you're trying to help. So be mindful about your approach. Number 4, do not argue. Don't do it. Number 5, when you try to talk to them, get down on their level. Sit by them or kneel down by them so that it's less threatening. Number 6, approach them from their dominant side. People tend to focus more and do better when you approach them from the side that's dominant. Number 7, use as few words as possible. Remember, it's hard for people with dementia to process a lot of information, and it gets especially worse if they're upset. So use as few words as possible to try to communicate with them. Don't overwhelm them with a lot of words or full sentences and talking really quickly. Number 8, restate what they're saying in a calm, comforting way. If your loved one is saying that there's a scary man outside of the door, then you would say something like, "There's a man outside of the door? That's not good. Let me take care of that. You're safe. Here, come with me and let's get settled." Then you can offer them a snack, a drink, or do whatever you can while you go take care of the problem. Do your best to redirect your loved one into something that they would enjoy and distract them from the situation that was making them upset. Now, in some cases, you may not be able to understand what it is that's upsetting your loved one. So here's where tip number 9 comes in: play detective. You want to try to rule out common reasons for their distress. Pain, hunger, toileting needs. These are common reasons why people with dementia sometimes get upset. Now, don't ask them in a rapid fire type of manner. You want to ask them slowly and calmly and go through some of these questions until you either find out what it is that they want or need, or until you've successfully redirected them. I want to take a moment real quick to tell you about a video I watched at work recently. It was of a person with dementia who was living in a nursing home, and the person with dementia was walking around screaming, "Where's my mom? I need to find my mom." Instead of the worker saying, "Your mom is dead," or "Your mom's not here," the worker said, "Let me help you find her. Let's walk to your room." And the worker and the person with dementia walked to the room. The worker saw some photos around the room, and the worker said, "Do you have a photo of your mom so we can see what she looks like?" Of course, the person did. He had a family photo in his room. They took some time looking at it, and the worker started pointing out other things in the picture. "Wow, those are some very pretty flowers. Look at that background," and started engaging the person with dementia in a really lovely discussion. And you can automatically see the person with dementia start to settle down a little bit. The worker didn't try to use a rational response and that the mother's not around, didn't try to just say, "Calm down." The worker got the person in a conversation. Then the worker asked, "What is it that you enjoyed doing with your mom?" And that person with dementia responded, "I liked playing the piano with her." Well, then the worker said, "Oh, why don't we go down to the music room? I would love to hear you play the piano." And then before you know it, the worker and the person with dementia were walking out of the room with the person with dementia completely calm and no longer walking around in distress asking for his mom. Now, again, this is a simple example, and your situation is obviously going to be different, but I want you to be creative and open your mind that your loved one with dementia might be requesting a certain thing or saying a certain thing that doesn't quite make sense or doesn't have a really good answer that they want to hear. It doesn't mean you need to provide them with that specific answer. It means you can engage them in a conversation, and whenever you see that window of opportunity to help redirect it or to help shift the conversation, take it. I really want to challenge you to start opening your ears for those little opportunities for redirection, just like the worker did in the video that I watched. All right, tip number 10. Give positive encouragement and feedback throughout the situation with your loved one. For example, you could thank your loved one for walking with you, or you can thank your loved one for holding your hand, or tell them that it was really nice of them to share something. Tell them how great they look in their shirt. Whatever you need to do, just find some ways to sprinkle in some kind and encouraging words throughout the situation. Remember, you don't necessarily have to respond directly in a way that answers your loved one's questions, but you want to respond in a calm, gentle, kind way, and your loved one with dementia is going to react to the way that you are responding to them. They're going to pick up on your nonverbals. They're going to pick up on your facial expressions. If you're looking at them like, "I don't know what you want. What is it? What can I do? How can I help you?" That's pretty scary for your loved one with dementia. Even though you're trying to help them, in their mind, you're doing something that's really upsetting to them. They see you as being really upset, and it's going to continue to escalate the situation and make matters worse. Remember, when your loved one is showing signs of distress, anger, frustration, they're having a hard time. They're scared, they might not be understanding what's going on, or their understanding of the world around them is very much different than your understanding. So you have to join their world. You have to try to see their situation through their eyes. I promise you, in these situations when your loved one's really, really upset, they're not doing it to try to make your situation worse or to try to give you a hard time. They are literally having a really hard time, and they often don't understand that you're actually trying to help them when you fall into the typical approaches of how you would help other people. So I want to encourage you to take a good look at those 10 tips and start to try to implement them and sprinkle them in whenever you are trying to calm your loved one with dementia down. Careblazer, I hope that these tips were helpful to you. Now remember, you can't control or totally prevent your loved one with dementia from getting scared or having distress or from getting angry from time to time. It's gonna happen, it's part of the disease. However, what you can control is the way that you respond to those situations. And there is a way of responding that can either make things worse or that can help calm things down quicker. And that's the whole goal. So I hope that these tips can help you in that goal. I'd really like to know which of these tips you found to be the most helpful or which tips you plan to try to use right off the bat. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I will catch you over on the Facebook community group, and I will be back here next week with another video. All right, Careblazer, keep up the good work in caring for your loved one with dementia. Bye.